And the next speaker is Parry. He's the founder of Joe Green. So he's actually a F&B operator, and he will be sharing about the some of the green things that he has implemented in his cafe. Chris is actually a concept and landscape designer for Medini Green Parks, which is comprised of the edible park and the heritage forest, which is actually about 5 minutes from here. And his social enterprise, Joe Green, is tasked to build a green community that is both social and entrepreneurial around the platform for sustainable living. Chris will be sharing his personal view on what encompasses a green and sustainable F&B outlet. Please help me to welcome Chris.
Morning, everyone. Can I have a 5-minute warning at the end for time? Okay, so I'm going to talk about the cafe at Edible Park, which actually I have to fully disclose is not even really a cafe. It's really a platform. It's a venue, really, and what I do is I curate the vendors that operate there. And they operate at various levels at the cafe, the markets, and the festivals that we do. And also we're privileged because it's not really a commercial enterprise. We are a social enterprise. We are funded by Khazanah, managed by Medini Investment. So our ambitions are, more about creating new ideas and building community around these new ideas. So the first big one is actually the cafe itself is completely outdoor. There is no internal part to this cafe. We worked with Y Architect to develop the idea of this space, which is, I think, kind of important. It's actually the kind of spaces that we used to inhabit a long time ago. These are indigenous, native type buildings, which is something that, from my architect is actually really fond of also. I think the other thing that's apparent in this image is people. We really work on the people part of this equation. With the green thing, you can change all the variables, but if the people are not agreeable, if it doesn't interest them, excite them, or inspire them, they're not going to do it. So we work a lot in figuring out what is the desire part of the equation, and my background as a designer and creative director actually informs this. I'm really interested in figuring out what do they want, and how do we bring them forward. So let me go through some of the basic things we offer at the cafe. So we offer coffee and tea, but right there we have one big idea, which is about local. So we only serve local-based coffee, which is roasted in Batu Pahat. Our teas are actually sourced from the park itself. They're all flowers and herbs that we harvest and dry. And we also do mix it with an organic tea, also a Malaysian-based organic tea. And we sell the product alongside it. So if someone wants to take it home, it's available to do that. We have cold drinks, which are, again, sourced either directly from the park. We make syrups with basil flower, roselle. The basil flower is interesting because it's actually a waste product. We have to harvest, otherwise the basil dies. So we we keep working on trying to figure out how to use a lot of the things that actually are just part of the daily life of the park. So we even try to get our vendors to bake with it. We're trying to make it like an alternative lavender, if you will. We try to also, for example, in our lattes, we use a local milk. We use farm fresh. So one big idea here is we want to keep it very local, very Johor. We look for Johor supplies for everything. Or we do it ourselves. The cafe itself, our main vendor is Sharina Ali, who has Baker's Garden at Eco Botanic. Sharina and us, the Johor Green community, goes back a few years. She started out doing markets with us, and we really love that she does very authentic baked goods, cakes, quiches, that kind of thing. And they are all natural ingredients, no artificial ingredients. And then we've also tested to make it a little bit more to fit our narrative, which is the other big idea we have, which is plant-based. We really like this idea of plant-based, so we've got it to do like a tempeh pie. And we've also worked on doing alternatives to wheat-based products. So she does a sweet potato base on that quiche. She does a brown rice base. So we're constantly working with our vendors to actually improve our message also. So but also we like the fact that it looks gorgeous, it tastes really good, and we can get people on our side on the subject. Our cafe is actually only open one day a week on Saturdays, and it's open, and one Saturday a month we have a green market. So the Saturdays are quite small right now because we're actually in a very low foot traffic area. There's barely anything there. The monthly markets are a lot busier. We have 300 to 400 people come to that on Saturdays. But that's changing, and we're preparing for that change. Madini 9 opens in September, and by November we will see a lot of foot traffic there, and Sharina will probably open the cafe all week for lunch to meet that demand. We have 2 festivals a year. This festival was taken in, this photo was taken in March at our Edible Festival. We've got one coming up in October called Harvest Festival. Edible Festival was to introduce ourselves and our presence in Iskandar Putri. Here is Darren Teo, arguably one of the most famous chefs in Malaysia. He owns Dewakan in KL, and he's a real kindred spirit in that he also is very drawn to plant-based and indigenous ingredients. So here he is doing a showcase with locally sourced ulam type vegetables with a mix of some of the flowers and herbs from our garden. So that's the other thing we want to do here is, apart from our cafe, F&B, we actually want talent to come and occasionally show what they can do with local ingredients, what they can do with the ingredients that they find at our location. At our monthly market, the offering at the cafe gets enhanced by the offering by the vendors. So we tell a slightly broader story, but the narrative remains the same. In this picture, we have craft beverages by Alex who's here today. We have authentic kampung food from Club Alami, who are actually just quite nearby. They're based in Tanjung Kupang. So we expand the story with more but different, you know. And then we add music, so we make the experience of being there very, very social. The green markets are actually really, really popular, and every month we see a little bit of an increase in the number of people that come. I'd like to talk a little bit about the people that come, because we've really grown to understand that the Iskandar Putri has a very interesting demographic. We have a very high amount of expats, and the expats are not just Western expats. We have a lot of Japanese, Korean, Pakistani. You know, they're all professionals, families living and working here. And they are represented not just in our customers or the people who come to the markets or the cafe, but also in the vendors. We have a couple of Japanese vendors, with expat vendors. So this is, in a way, you know, when we talk about Johor, this is actually something new. This is quite different. This is not old Johor. This is a new mix of people that are coming together in the city. We host tours and events. We get a lot of kids, which I think is important because we are modeling a lot of ideas, behaviors. We get them to eat this plant-based offering usually. So this one on the left is the SK Sungai Danga, sponsored by Iskandar Investment. And we've made a nasi bunga for them, which was a combination of something they know, which is nasi kerabu, but we added flowers from our garden. So we were able to talk about it, and they have a little fun, and you know, it's quite engaging. In the other photo, we did a campfire cookout with another SK, I can't remember the name, but it's a Chinese language school also in Iskandar Putri, I think it's Horizon Hills. And what we offered there was a tempeh burger with sweet potato, I think, yeah. Oh yeah, and also the drinks. We do roselle drinks, lemongrass and lime, all from the park. And we talk about it, and we tell them what it is. And we always get a really, really good reaction. They always are quite fascinated with our choices, and we involve them. You know, it's quite tangible, the involvement. We get them involved in the campfire cookout. So just a couple of things that I think we're sort of leaning towards as our specialty. One of them is flowers. We're making flowers an interesting edible ingredient. And we do it in not just in our offering. So when we have an event, maybe we will do flower cakes. We also sell flowers to F&B, to chefs. So we work a lot with chefs. We want to be very friendly with chefs. So we've worked with Sprout, Flowers in the Window. We're going to be working with Void, we're opening in Sunway. Because we need them to evangelize some of our ideas. You know, we can never do what they do, like that material, make beautiful things on the plate. And I think these are the kind of things that can excite the general public and make them more interested in the subject and buy into it. So, so flowers is definitely one of our, sort of our specialties. The other is that we actually have a farm. We have a 1-acre farm. We grow our vegetables. On the Saturdays when we have the cafe open, we also have a small farm stand where we sell these items. And we're beginning to bring in a few more things. Like now we've got eggs. We've got free-range organic eggs. At the farm we model, we have, actually we also believe in ethical behaviors. So we employ, at the farm we have 2 orang asli workers. We have a Rohingya refugee. We work with 2 senior Malaysians. We treat the enterprise quite holistically. We think everything kind of matters. And the orang asli actually are have now brought in their family to be vendors at our market. So now, last month we had one of the community come and sell shellfish and fish. Although we are plant-based, I said we are plant-based. Plant-based is not necessarily just it's vegetarian. We do, if local fish is a good idea, we'll put it in there. So I'd like to wrap up with a sort of sense of where these ideas belong in a bigger perspective. I followed some guidance from this from Drawdown. If you're not aware of it, I highly recommend you take a look at it. Which is they gathered a qualified and diverse group of researchers from around the world to identify, research, and model the 100 most substantive existing solutions to address climate change. So these are real solutions that can actually institute change, and which gives you a perspective actually on what we're doing and what's happening around us. So some of the choices we're making address directly this change. Number one, refrigerant management. The fact that our entire cafe is outdoors without any air conditioning is really exhibiting this kind of behavior. When we have a lot of local product, hyper-local that just comes from our farm, or local that just comes from Tanjung Kupang, we are also cutting out all the refrigeration that happens when you're buying something that's come in a refrigerated truck onto refrigerated shelves in an air-conditioned supermarket. So we're really cutting out that part of the equation. Number four, plant-rich diet is, again, another big deal, I think. Though we eat far too much meat now, and we really want to try and get people to get excited about a plant-based diet, and we just want to show them more choices and possibilities. That's why we like the chefs giving us other ideas. And finally, the farm represents a couple of things. Number 11, regenerative agriculture. The piece of land that we are in, this 4-acre park, actually stood empty for 10 years before we took it over. It was just grass and paths and a children's playground. And I think it's a great model of how you can activate a piece of land with not just product, but also ideas, community, entertainment. We have markets, festivals, tours, and weekly activities. We do workshops. And also the idea of number 14, tropical staple trees, is something that we will grow into as our banana trees and our papaya trees bear fruit. But it's also reflected in our other choices of actually using a lot more lowland vegetables. We really, we have Brazilian spinach, and we put that in our product and get people to understand what that's like. I have, most of these ideas are actually embedded in this book called Eat Your Landscape, which we gave away at our last festival. I have about 20 copies here, so do come and get one, and it will go into more detail. It's actually a recipe book, but layered into the recipes is a little bit more information about the park, some of the ideas that we are doing about the building, and about our community. Thank you for your time, and we have a festival on October the 6th, so save that date.